Konnichiwa, hello, and welcome. This is Roy at Ninjazilla90, and today I will be reviewing the S.H.MonsterArts Gigan 1972 from the Showa era classic Godzilla vs. Gigan, of course, and he also made an appearance in Godzilla vs. Megalon, and yeah, I got some things to say about this figure, so let's get started. And now, here we have the S.H. MonsterArts Gigan 1972 figure right here before us from the Showa era classic Godzilla vs. Gigan, and also from his appearance in Godzilla vs. Megalon in all of his evil cyborg space alien glory. As you can see, this figure is very well sculpted and very highly detailed, sculpted by the famous S.H. MonsterArts sculptor, the man, the myth, the legend, Yuji Sakai. As you can see, this figure sports Gigan's original Showa era colorization, comprised of a very dark green colorization for his skin tone, and accompanied with very bright, beautiful gold scales going all throughout his body, from the top of his head to the front of his chest and his belly, going all the way down to the very tip of that very silvery bladed barbed tail right there. So yeah, I wouldn't want to get poked with that. Anyway, moving right along down, as you can see, we have his signature buzzsaw blade in the middle of his chest, going down his belly right there, that he uses in Godzilla vs. Gigan to slice Godzilla's head clean open. I believe that's the first time we actually seen Godzilla bleed in a movie, so yeah, that's pretty deadly. So yeah, I believe he was the first kaiju to ever make Godzilla bleed. Yikes. But anyway, getting a closer look at that eye visor of his that he uses to fire his laser beam. Looking really nice. As you can see, it is very translucent, and you can see through it. You can see all kind of like, almost like, it looks like almost kind of like insect eyes in there a little bit, if you look at it. But anyway, far as articulation, the mandibles can open and close on a hinge. The jaw is also on a ball joint, so we can open that mouth of his. We can open that beak very wide, as you can see. It is very shiny and very silvery. And getting a closer look at the inside of that mouth and the finer details that the S.H. MonsterArts figures incorporate, as you can see. All of those realistic looking, if I can get them in focus, all those realistic looking fleshy parts inside of his mouth. I could see the top of his gums, all the little smaller inlinings of his gums, and the little smaller veins inside his mouth, as well as his very realistic tongue, and yeah, the inlinings, the bottom of his mouth on his gums. And as you can see, if we get a closer look, that the Showa era Gigan actually sports some little small tiny serrated teeth. So yeah, the Final Wars Gigan was not the first version of Gigan to have teeth. Well, at least that one had bigger teeth. But yeah, the original Gigan still had teeth, but smaller teeth, as you can see. And he also sports a sort of this kind of like spiked blade inside of the middle top part of his mouth. So the top of his jaw, he also has a spiked blade in there. So you can see that. Yeah, that's not a feature everybody knows that Gigan has because that's in the inside of his mouth, but now you see it. But anyway, moving right along with articulation, these shoulders are on ball joints, so we can rotate them around a full 360 like so. Same is true with the other arm. The elbows are double jointed, so we can bring them up like that and bring them back down for sort of this slashing motion. And his hands, as you can see, are based. He has these sickle blades, as we all know, but they also can be used as hooks to hook his opponents, to hook his enemies and drag them in. So yeah, Gigan pretty much here to give Godzilla a hard time, technically. But anyway, his sickle blades can swivel all the way around a full 360 on his arms, like so. Now his signature buzzsaw blade in the middle of his chest does not move. That's just one solid fixed piece on this figure. So yeah, don't even try to do that, because you're going to, because if you try to force something, you might break it, and yeah, we don't want to damage these figures for the price we're paying, because yeah, they're expensive, and there is a very fragile part on this figure that I would definitely advise being careful with, and I am about to get to that in a second after I go over the leg articulation, starting with the hips and the knees, and then getting into his feet, where he has these bladed feet as well. The hips are on ball joints, so we can bring the hips out about that much, so we can do the splits until he leans forward like that. We can bring them back. We can kick forward about that much, bring the legs down about that much. Same is true with the other side, so we can kick forward about that much, bring the leg back down about that much. We can move the legs a full 360, but they always pop off if I try to do that, so I'm not even going to attempt to do that. But anyway, the knees are double jointed, so we can bend those knees like so. We can get some good range of motion out of this figure. And the feet are on ball joints, so we do have some good ankle articulation, so we can rotate those feet a full 360 like so, and we can point them forward and back like so. And yeah, those feet are would be very pointy and sharp. I definitely wouldn't want to get kicked in the butt with that's for sure. That's gonna hurt like heck. But anyway, moving right along to the back of this figure. Speaking of backsides, funny enough, as you can see, this is the fragile part about this figure. I was talking about that I would definitely be dead careful with, especially not to drop this figure, because yeah, I can feel like his dorsal fins feel kind of flimsy, so I would definitely advise being definitely careful with this, like careful to the most serious of serious intentions. So yeah, definitely be seriously careful with these. So yeah, you can pop the dorsal fins out and you can move them. They are articulated, so we can put him in sort of a flying pose, and especially with his tail articulation, so we can do that, so we can recreate sort of the beginning scene of Godzilla versus Gigan, where the evil space monsters are flying to Earth from space, like so. You can just imagine him coming to Earth with King Ghidorah. But anyway, putting him back down. And now getting more in depth with tail articulation. As you can see, his tail has these very shiny silver spikes in the middle of it, going to the bladed barb at the end of his tail, which also come from the spikes on his head, from the front spike making up his head crest to the smaller spikes going down his neck, to where they basically become go into the smaller spikes that go into the end of his tail. Tail articulation is really good with this figure. You can move his tail this far this way until it pops off. As you can see, that part of the tail likes to pop off a lot, but anyway, I can move it about this much that way and it popped off again, but at another segment this time. So yeah, as you can see, I'm already gonna have to take points off for playability, especially with the tail. But anyway, yeah, you do get good tail articulation, but yeah, that needs to be better. Yeah. But yeah, overall, I still do like this figure, but yeah, I think the playability could be better, as you are witnessing. But anyway, with that said, I will now be getting into my final verdict. And now for my final verdict, which means my final thoughts and opinions on the S.H.MonsterArts Godzilla vs. Gigan 1972 figure here. If I have to give him a score based on detail, articulation, and playability, I have to give him a, drumroll please, a well-deserved and fair 4.5 stars. Why? Although I still feel like this is a good, well worth it, highly recommended figure, as you witnessed and as I was saying, he does have some flaws where I do have to unfortunately take some points off. That being, yeah, this here. Yeah, that is the major drawback with this figure. And another drawback is, yeah, like I was saying, you can't really rotate the legs a full 360 on the hips without them popping off. And another thing, the joints on this figure was really tight out of the box. So if you just get this figure, yeah, you're definitely gonna have to hit them with some heat from a hair dryer and apply some dish soap to the inside of those joints on the ball joints, because they are going to be really tight, and if you try to move that out of the box, yeah, it's gonna break if you do that. And then, yeah, you don't want to damage these figures for the amount of technically the unreasonable amount of money that they cost to most people. So anyway, guys, that pretty much concludes it for my review on this figure. And if you like what you see, definitely like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you made it this far into the video, thank you guys all so much for watching. I appreciate you guys very much. And with that said, to wrap things up, love you all, stay safe, God bless, and peace out.